Robert Kraft apparently, maybe...
He's not a high roller in that world.
No, he's not. No, he's not. But you know what? No matter how rich you get, who doesn't love a Big Mac? No matter how rich you get, who doesn't love a trip through the McDonald's drive-thru?
Sure.
Right? And that logic applies to everywhere. No matter how rich you are, a good slice of pizza from a corner pizzeria is always going to be good.
Well, they were doing a sting operation in this place for like 6 months or whatever it was. I guess they're saying that this place traffics women. I guess it's an Asian massage parlor. And how many guys have gotten into this place in the last 6 months? They're like, oh no. And they're waiting to be busted.
Oh, yeah, because they have all the names.
And there were a lot of guys who are not probably as famous as he is, and maybe they used cash, and they know their faces on surveillance camera somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so Robert Kraft had gone in there a few times, owner of the Patriots, and he had, he'd paid for services. I think, what was it, like $75 an hour?
I don't know.
Is that what the report was?
Plus more,
59 for 30 minutes, 79 for an hour.
Okay,
plus
so
be a tipper, I guess.
You'd be stupid not to get the hour.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's built-in savings.
Of course.
$20,
Yeah, well, it's because I'm using your mic stand.
Thank you. Sam's mic fell.
Yeah.
Limp.
But he said, look, the guy's 77. If anything, I understand that trafficking is very, very bad. It's a very bad thing, this trafficking. But Robert Kraft doesn't know anything about trafficking. He's not going to a place that traffics. If anything, clearly, he's not deep into this prostitution game. Because if Robert Kraft were a real dirtbag in the prostitution game, he's not going to $79 massage parlors. He's just an old guy that wanted a hand job.
Yeah, and he probably has gone in there a few times. It's say his wife died, or they split up or something, and they might have divorced or whatever. In 2011,
she died.
She passed away, right?
Oh, he's not even with his wife anymore. You're giving him a hard time now because he's trying to get a little relief.
But is he? A lot of times in those moments, you're not thinking about trafficking. Like they're like, it's obvious, but you're not. As a guy who has done a lot of that in his life, you're not thinking, hey, this is. I just didn't like those. I never liked the Russian or Asian places because it felt too much like it could be some kind of a weird operation. I never liked them for that reason. But if you don't do that often, you probably just go in there and go, this is just, Well,
you're also deep in this game. Like, you're really not. Every now and then you might grab a Big Mac, but let's be honest, more often than not, you're going to a steakhouse.
I just want a familiar restaurant at this point.
Exactly. You're going to a steakhouse. You're a man of certain tastes.
Yeah.
Right?
So he's not thinking about as trafficking.
This isn't something he does every day. If this was something that he did every day, he's a billionaire. Robert Kraft could go and pay as much as he wanted to for high-priced escorts. Like these politicians that go through these escort services. These are guys that make a habit of it. How else would you know all the sort of intricacies of what the industry has to offer? Like Spitzer. Spitzer wasn't a one-and-done guy.
No, he was not.
Spitzer was a regular customer.
Although I think Kraft went twice, they said.
That's what I mean.
He down there.
He went a couple times. First time he was like, I heard you could just ask them to give you a hand job. Then the second time he goes back, he goes, you know what? That was fun the first time. It was a good time.
He's denying everything, though, so I'm wondering.
Come on.
Do they have him on film? Why would he deny it if he's on film?
They said they have everyone on film.
Yeah.
By the way, what an asshole establishment. If you're going to do a hand job service place, don't film people.
Well, I'm sure that the police made them.
It was undercover.
Yeah.
They didn't know they were filming?
How did the cops get cameras in there, though?
They got him in the Sopranos house. That's how they did it.
How the fuck did the police get...
They put him in Meadows' lamp.
Did they have some kind of a light thing, do you think? Or electrical... Hey, we have electrical workers going in there. How did they do that? Or did they do it at night?
Probably just a hat with a camera on it.
Oh.
Mind if I go room to room, viewing what you have to offer? Don't mind me, Mr. Kraft. Just look into my hat.
He probably went in there thinking he was anonymous because nobody knows him. There's a lot of probably Asian girls that don't know him.
Yeah, I wonder. It would have to be... Because would you think it would... I guess they might close at night and you could...
Go in there at night.
Go in there at night and do it.
Or somebody probably goes in and can put like a little camera somewhere.
Yeah, but you got to charge it. Like I'm sure, but they don't just run on no batteries. So like if it's a 6-month operation,
that's true.
There has to be something installed that probably is.
Maybe they pretend to be air conditioning guys and they just put some wiring in the ducts.
Maybe, yeah, it could be something like that. Sure.
You got to have air conditioning if you're in Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah,
it's got to work.
Cut the air conditioning, or do something to fuck with it.
Can you imagine?
Go in and fix it.
As humid as it gets down there, can you imagine trying to get a hand job and the AC doesn't work?
Oof,
it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Sweaty balls. Can't do it. Can't do it. You have to have
It smells like onions.
Yeah. Robert Kraft, look, he'll slum it a little bit, but he doesn't want to have to deal with that. No.
So he's probably just more. I don't think he's getting in big trouble. He's probably just embarrassed.
Yeah, of course. And I end up feeling bad for Robert Kraft. Is that wrong? Do you feel bad for Robert Kraft? I'm against human trafficking,
yeah.
for the record. But Robert Kraft is not aware. Robert Kraft, the evidence dictates that he contributed about $160 total plus tip, maybe $200. He contributed to human trafficking. I don't think that Robert Kraft is the problem here.
And by the way, if they know that they're trafficking, why are they letting it go on for 6 months?
They got to know for sure. Definitely trafficking.
I mean, like, what's happening that they know is trafficking as opposed to after a week's surveillance?
Yeah, I wouldn't
bust them and arrest the people who are trafficking the girls and set them free.
I always think when there are cases like this, especially when you bring up the 6-month thing, that they kind of know who's going.
Right.
And they want to get the evidence. They want to get a high profile name.
And they're waiting.
If there's an inkling,
Yeah.
if they've seen Robert Kraft walk in at some point or whatever, that's who they want to get on film.
Maybe they've even found out, and that's why they targeted that place.
Right.
To get a big name like that.
Right. Because then it becomes a national story, and then they really can crack down on it or whatever they need to do. But yeah, now Robert Kraft's got to deal with this. I mean, single guy. You're a widow, right?
Yeah.
Or a widower? Which one is the guy?
A widower.
He's a widower.
You said you're a widow, right? I went, yeah.
I know. I don't know why.
I'm stupid.
Oh, good point.
Plus, Rob came in with some clips, and I just didn't.
You got distracted.
I thought he had food. I was so hungry.
Thought he tore open one of those boxes of bars for you.
I would love one.
Yeah. Do you never went to a massage parlor?
I've gone to them, but rarely. Even back then, I didn't like it. It just always felt weird to me. I've said that before. I just never liked the vibe in those places, and I always like to I don't want to. If it didn't, I wasn't sure if they wanted to be there, and it just didn't feel comfortable. I just never liked the energy in those places, so I never went.
Well, I would think, and I've never been to one of these Yankee crankies, but I would think that the true factory-like nature of what is going on really becomes apparent there, in the sense that you're one of many clients that this woman will see today. At least when you have somebody coming to your house in the moment, you can get lost in the moment a little bit and trick yourself into thinking that there's something going on here. There's when you lay down on a massage table, I would imagine it feels like, if you think about it, you know that it's an assembly line. Yeah, and I don't care. I think it should be legal. And if you want to jerk off 80 guys in a row, knock yourself out. I just could never be 100% sure that they were happy to be there. Would human trafficking go down? Well, I would think that human trafficking would go down if it were legal, but some people argue that it would go up.
I don't know how it would go up.
Me neither.
I don't know if I think it would go. My opinion is that it would go down, because then if somebody isn't being treated right, they would feel free to call the police and say, "Look, I'm doing this, and I'm being forced to do this," and you hope that they'd be comfortable doing that without worrying that they're committing a crime.
You could regulate it,
right? That's what I meant. That's what I was about to say. You could regulate it in the sense that people, because there are laws about what the minimum wage is.
Yeah.
People don't work for less than the minimum wage because it's illegal,
and you tax it.
Yeah,
and you make people register. So, like, if they come in and raid a place, every one of those people has to be registered, making a certain amount of money per hour, and the system.
And as we all know, when women are being abused, they go straight to the cops.
Well, that's true. They always don't. But I'm saying that they could if they wanted to.
Sure, what they would be admitting to isn't illegal anymore.
Right. I think some of them might be afraid that they're going to get deported or get in trouble, as opposed to, being helped.
They're talking about using weed money in New York, legalizing weed, and using that money to build, to fix the subways. Imagine how beautiful the subways could be if they were using hand job money.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like weed. Everybody loves hand jobs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a possible way that they got the cameras in, by the way.
What do you think?
Through somebody. Wait, let me ask. A man with a lampshade on his head and a camcorder. No. Okay.
Does that lamp turn on? No. It just
looks like those
there.
are knuckles with a camera. No, it's just a cool lamp.
No, this is even cooler. A text from Jim McClure.
How the fuck did that help?
The cops staged a bomb. Okay, no. The cops staged a bomb threat to evacuate the place and put cameras in.
That seems like a real asshole move. Now you got everybody all panicked.
Smart.
Jesus, but how is that legal?
You got a whole bunch of sex-trafficked women that are now being terrorized because they think there's bombs going off in their establishment.
You get a warrant, anything's legal, right?
Yeah. These poor women. They're sitting
all you
there.
have to do is just you present evidence to a judge, right? And then
By the way, that's a great way to get the police in there and go, hey, we got to search every room and make sure you're okay. And then at the end, they'll just go, hey, you're all right, no problems.
Robert Kraft is just nude, hiding under a blanket. No, nobody in here.
Yeah. Some little chubby old man in a Patriots blanket.
Yeah. Nothing to see under here. Yeah, these poor sex workers. If they're being sex trafficked and they're like sex slaves, they're taken from their families. Now, not only do they have to worry about the people who run these massage parlors, but they think there's somebody trying to bomb them?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot to deal with.
So what are they going to do now? What happens to these girls? If they say, like, yeah, they're being trafficked, do they send them home, or what? Do they give them the option of staying here? What do they do?
I don't know. I would think that they're going to be sent home. It's not like we've been very friendly to illegal immigrants under this administration, right? If anybody, if we have them right there.
If they free you from sex trafficking, shouldn't you be allowed to stay?
I feel like you should at least get the option to become a citizen, you know? But they'd probably send them right home and say, not our problem. I don't know.
Right.
My hands are clean on this one.
well, they would stay at least until they're not needed as witnesses anymore.
Well, if they got Robert Kraft on tape, I don't think they need to talk to these girls that can't speak English anyway.
Well, I'm not talking about Robert Kraft. I'm talking about the big case,
the people who are actually making them do it.
The lead that's being buried.
What, the fact that there's sex trapficking going on?
Yeah. Yep.
Not just that the owner of the New England Patriots likes to get hand jobs, the fact that there's sex trafficking? Well, what about he's the owner of the New England Patriots and he is contributing to sex trafficking? No, take him out of the equation.
Yeah. He's just one guy.
He's a guy. He spent a couple $100 on some hand jobs. Let him live his life.
Why would he go to a place like that? Like, if you're Robert Kraft,
he doesn't know the deal.
I know that, but maybe he liked the anonymity of it. Like, maybe he liked walking in and not being Robert Kraft. He's just this fucking guy who has enough money just to. And they're like, okay, come in here. And they just shuffle him in.
Sometimes slumming it is okay.
Maybe he's got a sex trafficking fetish.
And maybe he is.
So?
Maybe there's
his thing.
Yeah, maybe that's his thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just nice to swing by and get a quick tune-up and go about your day.
Right. You don't need to do the whole thing where you're looking things up on the internet.
Fuck that.
Calling somebody, worried about a pimp waiting outside the room. Is this person going to steal my wallet? Now they know my address.
If you're him, you have your guy get a fucking a room for you, and then you have someone come see you because at least you're in an environment there. You're safer.
Bro, he didn't get to become a millionaire, billionaire, owner of a football team guy by buying hotel rooms he didn't need to buy, right? If it's going to be $100 for a hand job and how much money do you think it's going to cost him to stay at a hotel? Because he's not going to slum it with the hotel. It's going to be a nice room. So how much is the room going to be?
I mean, it depends. You could just get one at a fucking Quality Inn, or you don't have to get a great room.
Come on, he's getting a nice room.
You can, but you don't have to. You have just got your guy sitting outside in the fucking truck.
Yeah, just go to a courtyard.
See, all that is so complicated. For you, that sounds natural because you're the prostitution whisperer. You are Caesar Milan of prostitutes.
I am.
I
was.
You know your craft. You're in the game. You've experienced it. You've lived that life, right? Robert Kraft is just an old man. He likes to kiss Tom Brady on the mouth when he wins Super Bowls. And then he likes to get a quick hand job on the way home. That's it. He's getting a hand job on the way home. Going to drive 3 hours, see some spring training, get a hand job, call it a night. Put it DiGiorno's in the pizza, in the oven. Yeah. It's no problem. You don't think if Robert Kraft likes having hand jobs at these Yankee Crankies, you don't think he's eating DiGiorno's? Actually, Tom, you'd be surprised. It's not delivery.
I'll bet you he likes to, right after he comes, I bet you he likes to swing by and just grab a quick slice or go through that drive-thru.
That's it.
He's having a day of complete piggish indulgence.
That's
He
it.
just wants to do whatever he wants to do.
Sometimes you don't
Steak? No. I want a Whopper.
Right.
Give me a fucking Whopper. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to drop shit all over my Patriots sweatpants.
Exactly. Let me get a Coke. Let me get a fountain Coke. Oh, do you want that served in a nice glass? No, in a plastic cup. Throw some ice in it. That's it.
Let's go to Frank in Florida because I agree.
Frank.
Oh, Frank was better.
Welcome to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
Frank?
You there, buddy? Oh, here you are.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little operator error.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2006, I was a regular customer of a massage parlor in Philadelphia.
Oh, my God.
And one day, I walked up to it, and it was padlocked. Okay? The authorities are going after the wrong people. The Johns have nothing to do with the trafficking that is going on. They need to go after the traffickers. It's like going after low-level drug users and putting them in jail.
But the Johns are the ones they can embarrass. So the Johns are the ones that talk. Yeah.
That's the bullshit moralizing of laws in this country.
Did you ever, when you were going, did you ever think to yourself, oh, there's sex trafficking going on and this might not be on the up and up? Or were you just going, I don't know, I got a complicated life, I just need a hand job right quick?
Okay, well, when that happened in Philadelphia, all the good-looking girls, gone, out of there. It was a bunch of old, bitter Asian women. And then I realized that, it was after I haven't done the Asian thing since 2007. So I have not participated in.
Good for you.
And all the women I see now are traffic free.
Good for you,
do it
Frank.
of their own volition.
Yeah, it helps if you feel like, because there's some people you get to know over a period of a couple of years or a few years. There are people that you do get to know, and then you know their story, and no, this person has a job and this is what they do. I know where her family. Like you really do get to know people, and then people just make a decision like, hey, I want to make some extra money doing this. It's a big difference between that and somebody who is kind of brought over and made to do that to pay off some fucking slave ship debt, or some smuggling debt.
Huge difference.
Yeah, and they should go after these people. They should go after the guys who are trafficking them.
The traffickers.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the penalty should be horrible for it.
You think Frank now goes to just a massage parlor in Florida that's a bunch of Philly chicks in there? just a bunch of Philly chicks giving hand jobs?
He doesn't know where they're from. They go, hey, what's going on? He's like, all right, you'll do. Hey, what's going on down there? You need a little something?
Do you frequent massage parlors, Troy, or just here and there?
I haven't gone in years.
Right. But if you find out there's one going, you're like, you know what? Quick and easy, in and out.
I'm not opposed to it.
Right.
You just get older and you're just like, I'm not dealing with this. And there are times where it's just like, oh, man, you just feel so bad. But there also are times where everybody's happy and excited to be there.
But if you're not willing to deal with a massage parlor, imagine not the amount of I don't want to deal with it that you would have to go through the process of like finding a proper prostitute to come over to your place.
It's a lot of work.
It seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Is it, Jim?
It could be. I mean, people are like Backpage closed. I saw that documentary on Backpage on fucking Netflix. Those guys were complete creeps. Like they knew that like kids were being trafficked, and apparently they didn't do much. They didn't.
The guys that ran Backpage, the big prostitution website?
Watch the documentary. But when that closed down, it didn't hit me that hard because I really wasn't at that point using it that much. Like I said, you get to a point where you just want to see people who you know and
you have your network of
people who you like and you're comfortable with, and they know you. You know their real name. They know your real name. It's not a fucking thing where you just got to go. Wait, how much? It's just too much.
I need to find Crystal. Where's Amber? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Then you've got excited guys like Paul who wait in a park for the place to open.
Well, yeah.
Paul, who works over at Raw Dog,
Yeah.
Paul O.
I understand.
When we went to Montreal, he did.
Just make it legal.
It's legal there.
It is legal there.
Is it legal there?
It should be legal.
Well, the laws are kind of a little gray.
A little wishy-washy?
Well, you can give a hand release.
Oh.
This is what from my understanding of talking to the girls there.
Okay. Cool. You wanted to get to the bottom.
He was undercover.
Well, yeah. It's like, what's going on
expose.
here? You can get it. You can have
Now, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
When you have the conversation with the girls, you do want them to know that you're not undercover, like Jim just suggested. Do you wait until their hand is on your penis and then start asking the questions?
Yeah, when do you begin your interview?
Yeah. Okay. I believe you can give a hand release. That's okay.
Okay.
And then I believe in certain areas, it's kind of like between two consensual people.
Of Montreal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you go in and you say, I don't even know if you can't really discuss money, I believe, but it's like, if it's just two adults and they decide to have sex, then that's okay.
Like it's almost this thing where it's two adults deciding to have sex, and then maybe you, as a gentleman, will just say, "Oh, I have a gift for you."
There you go.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand. But at what point do you have that conversation? Does the hand is it after you've had a hand release? Is it before?
After.
You have to
making some chit chat.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah,
I see. Because if you do it before, you might be a narc.
Yeah, I don't know if a narc would go. I mean,
I think some of them would. I think some of them would, for the job.
Right.
I think some cops aren't dedicated enough to get jerked off.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah. It's a tough thing, but I think some police officers would let you tug their penis.
I think you're not supposed to do that.
Nah, but for the job.
Oh, I see.
They're on a job.
Like if you're undercover, you're not supposed to do drugs. You're not supposed to solicit prostitution.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
It's part of the job.
Bleeding blue.
Hey, if those guys will get shot for part of their job, I'm sure they're willing to do this. This might be one of the perks.
The cops are heroes.
Yeah.
I see. I understand.
You got to go in there and get jerked off.
That makes sense. Nick in Detroit. What's up, Nick?
Good morning, boys.
Morning.
Hello.
Welcome back. It's always a pleasure to hear you boys back on the air.
Thank you.
Tough talk.
I miss those barks.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, guys. I was gonna say, the reason that these prostitution rings and these women are being exploited, the reason they exist is because it's illegal. If they were just make it legal, we'd have no problem. These women wouldn't be. I mean, I'm sure some exploitation and some women would get taken advantage of, but it would cut it out dramatically. We wouldn't have this problem at all because it would be legal, it would be regulated, people would be able to keep an eye on it, it wouldn't have to be held in secret, and everything would be taken care of, just like almost drugs, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what is it like in Amsterdam? It's legal, where they stand in windows and
in the red light district.
So I'm wondering, how are their lives? Like, are they pimped there, or are they treated pretty well? I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer to it. I don't know.
Troy, have you done any interview work there?
I have not. No,
Oh, okay.
I unfortunately went with my girlfriend at the time. If I do go back single, I'll definitely partake.
She didn't let you go in the window shop there?
No, we did. We walked around.
Right.
You know, and she was like, "Oh, she's cute," and she couldn't believe how hot the girls were.
Well, the girls are complaining that guys are videotaping them and taking cell phone pictures.
You can't do it. They freak out.
They do, right?
They're like,
yeah.
They block their faces.
Well, they probably got lives.
Sure,
and
of
stuff.
course.
They don't want to be on the internet as prostitutes.
Yeah.
As like tourism fodder. You know what I mean? Look at this. I visited here, and now you're internationally known as a prostitute. That's not the greatest thing in the world.
It is a pretty cool thing to see if you've, because I've never been down a red light district anywhere. So you walk down, it's just like the hottest girls, and you can literally just be like, you.
But you were window shopping only.
Unfortunately.
You were a wankster. You went to the dealership and never copped nothing.
That's true.
I understand.
True.
I understand.
Peeked around.
That's unfortunate.
I peeked around in, I think it was Belgium.
Do they have the same stuff in Belgium?
They do, yeah. I think it was Antwerp. I'm not sure.
You know, but if it were legal, they would still try to find some way where they could throw guys like Robert Kraft under the bus. Because we're never not going to be curious about that.
Sure.
Anytime you got a high-profile millionaire, billionaire guy like that.
Well, because he might be cheating on someone.
Right. In this case, his wife's dead.
Well, I think he has a girlfriend, but I mean, that's the big scandal. He's cheating.
Ooh, that should be a national story. The owner of the Patriots is cheating in his relationship.
Yeah, I don't know why. If you legalize it, and again, people can be checked up on, and they have to, and you can't hide it, and you can't just sneak them in and out in a van, but they have a voice.
Yeah.
Then there's not a big deal if someone does it. Then, like, who gives a shit?
Right.
And that's what I want to do for a living. Well, that's what I want to get done. Okay.
And the women like it. Haven't you ever watched those like Bunny Ranch documentaries? And like girls are having fun and guys come in. It sounds like a big party.
Because the women make the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're making a choice, a lot of times people just don't like the choice you're making. Well, it's like, too bad. You're an adult. You're allowed to make that choice.
Yeah.
Even if it's a shitty choice, you're allowed to make it.
Of course you are. If you can think it's a mistake. I don't want to see them make a mistake. Well, then don't look.
Yeah,
People are
going to
make mistakes. Yeah. You have to allow it.